Hello and welcome to the Lewis and Clark State Historic Site. My name is Ben and I work here as a site interpreter, and I've brought us down here to the confluence today. So behind me you can see the Mississippi River, and way across there you can see the Missouri River as it's entering in. Both rivers are bringing quite a bit of ice with them because it's the winter, and we've had a bit of cold weather the last few weeks. I thought this was a great opportunity to talk about my next item in our Item Spotlight series, the blanket coat. Now, what I'm wearing here is a pretty heavy wool blanket turned into a coat, just like the soldiers on the expedition would have done. Lewis and Clark are traveling 4 years. They have to worry about all sorts of weather conditions. Cold weather is going to be one of them. At Camp Riviere du Bois, from 1803 into 1804, it gets down to -20 at different points. In Fort Mandan, in what is now North Dakota, it actually got down to -45. So very cold weather, and as a military expedition, these soldiers don't get a chance to just stay inside until it warms up. They have to do guard duty, they have to go hunt, they have to go do other work. And so oftentimes they're going to be making and wearing these blanket coats. These are also sometimes referred to as capotes, or capots as they're written about in the journals. And the French Canadians have already been making these for many, many years. You take a heavy wool point blanket, a trade blanket with these points on it, and you turn that one blanket into a coat. Most of the ones that the soldiers were making were probably 3-point blankets. This point scale lets you know something about the blanket. 3-point blankets are usually 5 foot 2 inches by 6 foot, and they weigh about 4 pounds in wool. And that's a pretty standard system with these stripes. My coat blanket, as you can see here, is actually a 4-point, so it's a little bit heavier. And I have to say, I'm pretty comfortable here, even though I have the cold wind cutting through behind me. Wool is really great for retaining heat. It makes me feel warm inside. I'm actually feeling really warm through my core right now, even though I'm standing out in the cold wind. It's also great at repelling water, which is important if you're standing out in the snow or the rain. And it's actually not too bad at resisting fire. So anytime that you're there at the fire in between guard duty shifts, warming up, you don't have to worry too much about this catching on fire as you're wearing it. Now, these blanket coats are going to be just as common for civilians as they are to the soldiers of the expedition. In fact, a number of the recruits that are coming up to Camp Riviere du Bois to try to get in on the expedition are probably wearing their own and bringing their own with them. These blanket coats are great cold weather gear, and the soldiers will actually wear through theirs. They'll need more, and they make new ones at Fort Mandan and also at Fort Clatsop. At different points on the journey, we see the soldiers making or remaking or trading for these blanket coats. The blankets are pretty easy to come by, and if you had a few guys on the expedition that knew what they were doing, it wasn't too hard to put these together. These are not the only item that Meriwether Lewis will make sure the soldiers have. He also bought, as he was planning the early parts of the expedition, 15 watch coats. These would have been probably even a heavier wool, a heavy outer coat that the soldiers could use to stay warm. But those were usually handed off from soldier to soldier. As one soldier ends up finishing their guard shift or their other duty outside, they'll come into where it's warm, hand off the coat to the next person, they'll put it on and step outside to take their turn out in the cold. Now, these capotes, these blanket coats, they're going to be made usually out of this wool blanket, because that is the warmest. But we do see in the notes and the journals that the soldiers of the expedition are also using different furs that they trade for as well. And of course, none of this can compete with the buffalo robes that they get wintering at Fort Mandan. The blanket coat is a really relatable item for us. We have to have our winter coats in the cold weather as well. And it really makes me feel for how cold the Lewis and Clark soldiers would have been as they're doing their different chores around camp. This blanket coat is one of the items in our Item Spotlight series. We have other videos that you can check out on YouTube, and we'll be adding even more. You can check out all of our videos and information on our Facebook page and also at www.campdubois.com. Thanks for watching.